Countdown. Good evening. It is evening instead of the morning. I'm Willie Bragg. Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I was not going to do a program today, but I decided to do so because something came to my attention, and I'm a little pressed for time, but I will touch on this subject, and because I just think this very, very important. So yesterday I posted a commentary from Progressive Voice commenting on basically Kyle Kulinski and Bosch commenting on Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks. So rather than expose y'all to another segment of Progressive Voice, nothing against him, but I don't want to look like I'm leeching off of his material or anything. I will put the link on the description box below of the video commentary that came to my attention. But I would like to say thank you, Sahil, for just the same for bringing this up because I found it quite interesting. Now, while with this TYT Jimmy Dore Kyle Kulinski online drama, this drama that started over the summer, it's kind of been festering for quite a while. And looking back at the days when Jimmy Dore was still with TYT in 2018, early 2019, I kind of noticed there was a little bit of negative vibes going on when those three were together. But anyway, that's something I just noticed. But the thing about it is that Kyle Kulinski was very close with Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, and Jimmy Dore, and their friendship came to an end with this shitstorm that, in my opinion, was started by Anna Kasparian. She started this shit with her little meltdown. This is really what made it happen, and as I said, this whole episode that happened, I personally wish that Kyle Kulinski would just, and I'm saying this as somebody who watches a lot of Kyle Kulinski and consider myself influenced by Kyle Kulinski and favor Kyle Kulinski over everybody up front over this whole situation. I personally wish that he would shut up and stop complaining about how he no longer is friends with Cenk Uygur, Jimmy Dore, and Anna Kasparian, and is very, very lonely. I mean, come on now. That just makes you look weak, Kyle. Don't do that. So when it comes to politics, I'm strictly about policy. And policy is what I care about. Not personality, policy. And the thing about it is that TYT, instead, when it comes to policies, are they better than mainstream media? Marginally, maybe even now. However, TYT are a bunch of shit libs, as far as I'm concerned. And they take identity politics to a ridiculous level where you can't dress up for Halloween because it's considered racist. It's shit like that. That's ridiculous about them. And they become, with that Katzenberg money, part of the establishment. And they have taken an ugly turn toward the center. Now, Jimmy Dore is what you call a dirtbag leftist. That's not an insult from my perspective. A bit too much of a class reductionist for my liking. Whereas TYT are way hung up on identity politics, Jimmy Dore can be a little too focused on class reductionism to a level that and I don't think that Jimmy Dore is a Nazbolt and all that shit. But I mean, people gonna get the wrong impression. I don't think that about Jimmy Dore, but people on a lot of shit lists are saying things like that, and it's unfortunately sticking, whether it's true or not. And I don't think it's true. Um, and and I'm not saying this is a pejorative, but I would say in my judgment, Jimmy Dore is what you would call a borderline tanky. I mean, he's much further, in spite of what the shit libs say, he's actually considerably further left than they are. Um, of all the people involved, as I said, I've always been upfront about defending Kyle Kulinski. Now, in a tweet, and this is where Progressive Vocie did his commentary today. In a tweet, Anna Kasparian said that she'd be willing to forgive Kyle Kulinski if he apologized. Now, my advice to Kyle Kulinski is that you do not need to apologize to Shank Ugert and Anna Kasparian from TYT. You did nothing wrong, Kyle. Not a damn thing wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't want to be involved with this piece of shit fight that went on between Jimmy Dore and TYT. You got dragged into it. And you did nothing wrong. You defended TYT, you defended Jimmy Dore, and you critiqued them both. And anybody who thinks, anybody who was shit on Kyle Kulinski for his take on this situation, I mean, really, I mean, there's no reason to apologize. I mean, if anybody should apologize to Kyle Kulinski, it should be Shank Ugert and Anna Kasparian for firing him. Apparently, he was fired. I was wondering if he was fired or he resigned. I know he was let go from TYT, and a lot of people are saying firing. I'm not going to say he was fired, but that's what it appears to me. It appears that he was fired, and as I said, he might have decided to leave on his own accord. Regardless, TYT basically crapped on Kyle Kulinski, and I think that their network went considerably downhill. I mean, I was already kind of pissed with TYT, and I turned like 100% against TYT as a result of what they did to Kyle. Whether they pressure him to resign, or he quit on his own accord, or he was actually fired. So I don't know. He doesn't need to apologize to Anna Kasparian or Shank Ugert. And and to be fair to those who think that I'm some kind of a simp for Jimmy Dore, and while I am more on Jimmy Dore's side than I am on TYT's side, and I am get a little tired of the left beating up on Jimmy Dore too much. The way that they, he's not Dave Rubin. I don't give a damn. They went to dinner together. They're not the same. They're not the same persons, okay? Jimmy Dore is not the new Dave Rubin. I mean, now, if Jimmy Dore decided to go and say, we need a market reform. We need more market mechanisms involve our healthcare system. We don't need to go single payer. Or Jimmy Dore say, we need to not, we do not need to get back into the peace treaty with Iran, and we need to go and tighten the sanctions against Iran. Or if Jimmy Dore, was saying, gee, those people in Charlottesville, Virginia were great guys, weren't they? Defending the, General Lee statute. If he were to say these things, okay, I would wash my hands of Jimmy Dore. So, it just... Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that this whole thing is unfortunate, and I think that Kyle Kulinski is just better off to just do his thing and kind of like what Vocie was saying the other day with Kyle Kulinski, that he is kind of a bridge between those who are on the TYT end of the shit lib left and those who are, more into the gray zone, more into the Jimmy Dore world of what it means to be on the left. So, and honestly, and I sort of see my politics kind of, kind of where Kyle Kulinski is. Not that I want to say I want to associate with TYT, but I sort of see myself, myself. Not that I'm putting in points. My show's tiny, but my program is sort of the same thing, in that regard. So, I like how Kyle Kulinski or Jordan Sheridan kind of are doing their thing. And thing about it is, with regard to TYT, um, there's no reason to apologize once again. And to further illustrate my point about that, well, what I have to say is that well, he ought to take advice, or well, not exactly advice, but he ought to consider um, the amazing atheist. I mean, he's always made fun of TYT. He has no use for Shank Ugert. But he said one time when Justice Democrats had a lot of promise as a concept that he'd be willing to go and be allies with Shank Ugert if this Justice Democrats can do what it needs to do. Well, of course, Justice Democrats are a failure, and I'm not saying that like I'm gloating over it. I'm not gloating over it. I'm sorry that they're a failure. It shows some promise, but the returns right now doesn't seem to be working in favor of this country moving into a direction that I think this country needs to move into. But the point I'm trying to make is, as far as I'm concerned, T.J. Kirk's opinion of Shank Ugert is still the same, and the amazing atheist, even though YouTube is trying to take away his hard-earned subscription numbers. He was like at 1.1 million half a year ago, and now he's like down to 978,000. And I do not believe for a second that 23,000 people just all of a sudden lost interest in the amazing atheist. I think this is a YouTube thing that's going on against TJ Kirk. Social media is out there to try to make an example out of truth tellers, and and not to say I agree with the amazing atheist on everything, but but anyway, they're doing this to a lot of online leftists these days. But the narrative is that the Ben Shapiro's and the Steven Crowders get to scream victim and go wah. The liberal Silicon Valley are trying to silence me, and nobody's trying to silence Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder, nor should they. I mean, I despise them, but I don't think they should be silenced. I don't think anybody should be silenced. I mean, I would still love for social media to restore Alex Jones's right to be back on social media, even though I don't like Alex Jones. But I was entertained by him. Damn it, they took my entertainment away. I used to enjoy listening to those rants, so it just made me laugh. So, but anyhow, there's no reason for Kyle Kulinski to apologize to Anna Kasparian or Shank Ugert, and I wish he wouldn't, because it would show a sign of weakness on his part. I mean, I'm not saying that to put him down. I'm just saying that it would show a sign of weakness on his part, and people will make turn him into the butt of the joke, and Kyle Kulinski's actually one of the serious people when it comes to politics. And as I said, I don't agree with Kyle Kulinski on everything either, but I probably agree with him policy-wise on most things. It just makes the most sense. Only problem I have with Kyle Kulinski when it comes to I wish Kyle Kulinski would be a little more into third-party activism. And I do think he has an independent streak in him. But I wish I'm getting more and more convinced that the Democratic Party is a dead end. I mean, Republicans are just Republicans is a bag of diarrhea, but the Democratic Party in a lot of ways are not much better. Republican Party is the Christian Sharia Party, is the racist party. Not that everybody in the Republican Party is racist, but is that kind of party, the unholy trinity of race, Jim Crow Democrats turn fucking racist, the evangelical, the Christian right, and the warmongering neocons that contaminate the Republican Party. So that's a party to never even consider supporting. The Democratic Party is just nothing more than a saner, more secular version of the Republicans. And Chris Hedges' words is the Democratic Party was in Europe, it would be a center-right party. And I believe he's correct about that, too. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say right now. I have to head on to work in a few minutes, but I wanted to touch up on that. And let's see what we have here on the chat line. We have Invalid Arg. How are you today? I'm good myself. I'm just a little tired. Taylor Coles says Justice Democrats didn't come even close to fulfilling all of its goals, but it would be dishonest as hell to say that they aren't better than what Congress was before. Well, that's pretty much my take on them. I mean, and I don't think that they came in there lying to the left, but I think that, the saying goes that you don't go in there to change the Democratic Party changes you. And that's kind of what happened. And I think that the Democratic Party's headed back toward Clintonism. It was taking a break from it, but I am expecting with this, what is likely to be a Republican victory in next November, that you're going to hear the Democrats get lecture the left, and wagging their finger, at the left. So let's see, whether you run as a Dem or as a third party is going to depend on a district rather than what the policies to support. Well, I think that what we ultimately need in this country is a Labor Party, something akin to, and I usually, if I have to have a political party as a model, I would look at the New Democratic Party of Canada, because Canada's pretty much the United States with a single-payer Medicare for all system. They're very similar. It's a very similar country. Some things are different, but they're very similar. They're probably not any more similar countries than Canada and the United States. They just have a better electoral system. And weird thing enough, if we had an electoral system like Canada, we would have something like a New Democratic Party of Canada here in the United States, some kind of a Labor Party. And let's face it, if Kyle Kulinski and Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks and all the affiliates of the Young Turks and all the programs that were affiliated around the Young Turks, with the exception of the Rubin Report, they will all be in the New Democratic Party of Canada. Dave Rubin would be a Tory, a conservative. But anyway, here it is that as I said, I'm going to go. But I got another chat from Artie Resv. TYT's crazy. It is. Let's see here. For a Democrat that runs. Let's see. Let's see, for Progressive to run in solidly blue district, i.e. Nina Turner, you need something like a Justice Democrat. Yeah, but it didn't work so well for Nina Turner. And it's terrible. The reason U.S. have a parliamentary system doesn't have a parliamentary system. The U.S. wasn't originally supposed to have political parties. Yeah, and sometimes I'm just tempted not to vote at all anymore. But I'm just so pissed off with how everything is. I have to go, but I do want to conclude by saying, if you like what you heard, press like and comment anyway if you disagree with what I have to say. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are in fact the muckrakers of our time. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, I am Well, I am Willie Bragg. I was almost about ready to say my former name. I really was. Forgive me, folks. As I said, I'm tired and I don't want to go to work. So, come back to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show later. Y'all have a great evening.